what they want to hear, selling them an expectation or a dream, right? But then there's authenticity of what you're saying, or like what they're actually like doing. The personalized experience this customers get to enjoy is what's actually like always going to stay with the customers, right? So it's basically like a mix basically. So you have to like speak well to the customer. Then actually, more importantly, you have to actually like do what you're actually like saying in very, very most important way. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Adewale, for putting us through that. Edgar, you have quite an amazing personal brand, I must say, and I've seen you facilitate sessions on digital marketing and all of these things as it pertains to brands, of course. And I've seen you promote some brands that have to do with children, which makes me begin to wonder if those brands see you as Aki and Popo. For why I'm saying that is because I've seen you a lot. You do a lot of gigs as Father Christmas, so maybe that's what brings the brands to you. So I want to ask, when it comes to digital marketing, I've heard people just come and say, Shebi is just to post on Facebook, boost the post, and God do this thing, what's it going to cost? Or so tell me, it's your job, it's what you do. What are the nitty-gritties that are involved, when it comes to digital advertising, you pushing out a product, ensuring it gets to the right audience?
All right, thank you very much for that one. I want to just say something before I answer the question. I don't know, have you guys noticed that when Adewale is asked the question, there is this serious face they give him, like, okay, we noticed that they just ask him a very serious, but when it's my turn, it's as if, okay, well, I've passed the serious part, now let's bring some little humor into the room. Guys, I'm a very serious person. Please, all right? You can't be laughing, you can't be laughing here. All right, now let me answer the question about digital marketing and some things I think we need to always have in mind. There are 4 strong pillars of digital marketing or digital advertising that I think anyone who wants to go into advertising should be aware of. There are 4 strong pillars. The first part is awareness. And this is now where you put out a post, you want people to know what you're about, you're trying to get people to know what you do. I think it's very important that you understand, first of all, the social media platform that you're about to put your content on, understand how they work, understand how the algorithm works, and then you put out your content, knowing that the first stage is you want people to be aware of what you do. After the awareness stage, there is what we now call the consideration stage. And now the consideration stage is basically the stage where after people have looked at your content on social media, of course, you have so many clicks, you have people who have viewed it. There are people who start to ask the question, do I really need this? Do I really need to take this action? Do I really need this brand? As a brand owner, it is your responsibility to now track some of these people. And the easiest way to do it, if you post on Facebook, for example, is the moment you notice that someone likes your content, someone has dropped a comment, it is now left for you to enter their DM and begin to inform them some more about whatever you do. Let them know why they should take an action. Let them know why they should whether purchase a product or a service from you. You don't just leave them there to say, oh, I posted now. It's not just to post and promote. No, you have to also take an action to let people know that, okay, you know what? They've seen it. They are aware about this. I need to now make them consider me. Now, the first stage, again, is awareness stage. The second stage is consideration stage. Now, the third stage is what we call the conversion stage. Now, the conversion stage is where they have taken an action, all right? It means that as a brand owner, you need to make sure that your process for them to take the action is very seamless. It is very easy. For example, I'll give you a very good example. Some people have great products, they have great services, they have a very good brand, but their customer service is terrible. Maybe the person who is meant to receive them, whether it's by call or a message, the person is rude, lousy, doesn't have a great way of communicating with people. So it means you've gotten them from the awareness stage, you've gotten them to the consideration stage, but you lose them at the conversion stage because the person who is meant to engage with them to where they get to convert into maybe money or service or whatever, you've lost them. So you need to make sure that whatever's the seamless, it has to be very seamless for them. Another example is some people have websites. So they've told you on Instagram, I sell this thing, go on my website and buy it. But your website takes more than 5 seconds to load. Before they can even buy a product, they have to press one button, they'll take it to another page, they'll press another button, take another page. Then you now tell them to put their bank card, not just their bank card, you're asking them for their bank address, for their web house address, you're asking them for their PO box, you're asking them for their modern media name. Why do you need their modern media name, Abi? You know, so there are lots of things you have to make sure you're doing. You have to make sure that it is really seamless for them. And then the final part for marketing is what we call the retention stage. Now, the retention stage is you have sold this person has bought your product. How do you keep them coming back with little or no advertising? I mean, of course, one of the strongest way of marketing now is word of mouth. You buy something from someone or a service, they love your product, they tell other people about it, all right? But how can you also keep people to come back to your product? How can you tell them, you know what, you loved it the first time, I don't want to market it to you again the second time, but you want them to keep coming back. So it means your retention program has to also be very strong. These are things that brands also have to put in place. It's not just about posting and then leaving it. How are you converting those that are seeing your product? Those are the 4 pillars I know that once you get right, you understand it. But most is especially understand the platform that you're putting your content out or the platform you're advertising through. If it's Google Ads, understand what works on Google Ads, all right? What kind of content should I be posting on Google Ads? What kind of content should I be promoting? You know, so these are things I also think you need to understand. And then finally, know where your audience are. I'll give you a good example. When I started promoting my podcast, Why Am I Still Single? I was just promoting randomly to anyone. You know, I just used to say my target audience are young people, but there are different categories of young people and they are they are also in different locations as well. So what I realized that started working for me was that instead of looking for new users who want to just listen to podcasts, I started advertising my podcast to existing audiences for other podcasts as well, because they are already podcast lovers. So instead of looking for new people, I can just advertise to people that are already listening to podcasts. Now, let me give you a good example. If you have a toothpaste brand, this is just a practical example for someone who is listening here. If you have a toothpaste brand and you want to advertise to someone who would buy your toothpaste, instead of looking for people who have never bought a toothpaste before, you can actually advertise to people who have bought a competitor's toothpaste, but were not satisfied with the products that they got. And how can you easily do that with social media? All I have to do is go to a brand that already exists that has people and look through the comments. If someone said, oh, I loved your toothpaste, I can enter the person's DM and say, hi, so I noticed that you love so person's toothpaste. We also make toothpaste. I think you should try our toothpaste as well. That is you making the person see your platform, but because you already know they're in love with toothpaste, they would also consider you. That's the consideration stage that leads to the conversion stage. But the question is, how fast are you replying? How fast are you converting these people? How easy are you making it for them, making it the process for them to take an action? When you have all this together, I am sure that, you would have a great brand as well. So you guys can see that I'm serious now. You guys can see that I'm serious. You can see that I'm serious. I'm also serious.
You definitely dropped some gems there. So specifically in terms of the consideration stage, because now we're starting to notice like there's a shift in social media and content. Like even the 4 pillars these days seems distorted. Some people would find you not at their awareness stage and they jump straight into conversion for whatever reason, personal reasons and all. Can you go in depth into consideration stage specifically? So once a brand goes viral, virality, you don't even know whether virality equals sales or business results. So now for the consideration stage to happen, specifically depending on the kind of business, whatever it is, how would you be able to smoothly transfer the consideration stage into conversion? Yes.
All right. That's a very interesting question. So you always have to follow process and patterns. And one of them I would say is this. Let's break it into 2 different parts. You have individual brands and then you have companies that are brands. Okay. For an individual brand, I think one thing most individual brands like to do is you want to sell emotions, you want to sell your truth, you want people to be able to relate with you, with your brand. If you meet someone at the consideration stage, this is the stage where people are basically asking questions, and they need you to be as authentic and as real as possible. So I'll give you a good example. Someone wants to buy something that you sell. Instead of saying this is 100% the best brand, you see where brands will say it is 97%, it is 90%. All right, 90 is still a very great, great score. The reason we're saying what they are doing that is because they're trying to play with your emotions to make you understand that, see, we're not saying we are the very best, but we're saying we're good enough. People would believe that. All right. So the consideration stage is basically where you are just trying to convert people to the conversion stage. You're trying to give them the benefit of doubts. You're trying to make them understand how true your brand is and why they should take that action. So this is where trust comes in. Sometimes when I was working with Pulse as a digital marketer, I know we used to send a lot of emails. And when we send you an email about a campaign or a product or a service, you see us sending you more emails to tell you, oh, what do you think about the product? Are you sure? Do you like it? Do you want more? What are the things we can correct? These are ways to, get people to move from consideration to conversion. It's just more about trying to make sure they believe you in whatever that you say. And that's what it's all about. So it's about your trust. It's about trust. It's about answering questions on time, giving them responses. Let me give you a good example. I went to a restaurant one time and I bought a meal. And when I was done with the meal, I told the woman I wanted like jollof rice or something. And then next thing she said was, oh, would you want juice as well? Now, she could have said bye-bye or go and pay. But now she's bringing different things for me as well. And she's like, she didn't say, do you want water? She says, do you want juice? Or we have ice cream. You see, now she's trying to collaborate what I have bought with what I think she thinks I would need. All right. And then she's asking me, oh, cash or POS, do you need help paying? Should I help you? Should I do, these are ways to convince people to take that action. All right. Because now you've done the awareness. They know what you do. But how do you convert them? How do you make them, take that action? That is what consideration is. It's all about converting people. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You don't have to be,
Adewale.
You don't have to be viral. You have to be influential. There's a very big difference. Most people just conclude that when you say, oh, once you're viral, you've made it. No. Viral is you have lots of followers, you have lots of numbers, you have lots of engagements. But the question is the intention of the follower. Why do they follow you? I know a friend. Let me use it. Am I allowed to mention brand names? Is that okay?
Sure, you can.
All right. Like if I can mention brand names, okay. So I know a friend that he started smoking because Davido is a big smoker. He has like a big brand where he does like for cigars, not sticks and all that, but for cigars. And he started doing that because Davido was doing it, and Davido is a big influence to him. All right. So it doesn't only mean that you have to be viral. The question is, how much can you influence people as a brand? How much can you tell the brand to do is take a certain action and they will do it? That is what you need to always consider for a brand.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Adewale, I would like to ask you specifically concentration stage as well. For the concentration stage as well, specifically a service-based business like Leadway, how would you describe it? How would you explain it?
All right, thank you very much, Ife. Yeah, so for a service business like Leadway, so the concentration stage would be around customer service majorly, right? So because they are the ones that have a very, very huge responsibility of trying to convert, right? So customer service, the front-facing guys, that's maybe the people on the field, relationship managers, sales managers, and the rest. So for people like us in corporate services or in the brand account, but maybe we're like the back office guys, maybe we don't really have to interface with customers on a day-to-day. The customer service guys, people that go to the field to visit companies to tell them about Leadway, right? So those guys wear the image of Leadway, for example, right, or wear the image of a financial services brand because of their appearance, their knowledge of the product, what they say to them, how they try to convince them, play a very, very huge role in them putting a bit more consideration to what you're telling them. So you can't come to me now, right? Trying to buy. I'm trying just in my house now. You're coming to sell house without insurance to me, and I've never heard about it before. Maybe I've heard about it. Maybe we are billboard, we are driving on Zumba or something, and I already cleared that awareness phase because I have an idea about it. And then you coming to me now, okay, you know about Leadway house without insurance. I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I must have seen it on the billboard. I must have heard it on radio. But then I asked, okay, yeah, I'm here to sell house without insurance to you. And I start asking you a couple of questions. Does it cover my house if it gets flooded? Does it cover my electronics? Does it like so? I'm trying to consider what you're saying, but you have to have the financial services prowess or like knowledge of what you're actually selling to me. So if you coming back at me right as I'm asking the question, giving it to me back to back with very, very solid answers and rationale as to why I should consider as an insurance for my house, especially during the rainy season that we are currently in now, citing all these houses that we've seen. So this makes me consider it more. I'm like, okay, yeah. So then, okay, so how do I buy? Right, so you're virtually like you have sold to me successfully, and then I'm able to when you have converted me, I'm able to like buy it. So that's basically so it's basically the level of knowledge plays a very, very huge role in consideration, especially for financial services, because it's not tangible. I can't really see it. I can just feel it. So you need to like sell it to me in a way that I understand it. I'm not selling TV to you. So to me, you're selling a TV now. You can't just put it on. I don't even have to say lots of words. I can just show you how clear the LED, the different display, all this other stuff, and then I'm intrigued by it. But then for financial services, on the other hand, you have to be able to sell it clearly with words and also with very, very strong knowledge. And just to also add to what Peter said concerning virality, right? So virality, it's very, very different from business because you can be viral and be poor, right? So it's how you make it into money or how you so basically what do you do with your viral moment, right? So are you able to like turn it around and like do something very, very great with it and to get people once you get people coming in? Some people are very, very viral, they get like 1 million likes in 1 week and then they just slip off, they don't do anything with it, they don't like cross sell to them, they don't like tell them about their services, right? So it's basically not existent after like because you go up their mind after 1 week. And that's actually what happens to, let's say, for example, people that Niger contestant, they come out, they have 500,000 followers that they just got in 1 week. Maybe sometimes they are struggling with stardom, they don't know how to handle it. But people already like going with a good mindset, right? They know, okay, yeah, they have a manager that is already like thinking through the line, even after that, okay, yeah. So once you come out, this is what you're going to do, position yourself well for brands to come across, come engage you as brand ambassador. So it's basically what you're doing your viral movement exactly. I would actually like choose consistency over virality if you ask me. Yeah. Virality won't pay your bills, unfortunately. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Adewale. So now, I want to ask, for the future of brand communication and cultural relevance, are you noticing any shift in? Are you noticing any shift in how social media is going currently, specifically in the Nigerian market itself, specifically for businesses, personal brands?
Okay, sorry, if I lost you for a bit. Can you take the question again? I was trying to, I didn't know you were referring to me. I thought you were talking to Edgar. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. Specific shift in our social media space currently that I think is something to look out for and how it transcends into business or personal.
Okay, yeah, so I would say maybe the uprising or like the recent emergence of maybe AI or like how it's been able to like assist businesses or like help them manage time more effectively, right? So it's obviously not here to take over lots of jobs, right? So just here to like make you work smarter, right? So for example, you spend 1 hour trying to like work on maybe a strategy deck or something, and then with AI now you're able to like look out for it and like able to like get it done faster, right? So that gives you more time to actually like understand and actually like do most of that are like human generated, right? So irrespective of the fact that AI is here, you also actually still need what's the word? You actually still need human thinking to like build strategies and to like get organic insight and to like understand everything about marketing and brand, right? So even with the emergence of AI, right? So it's a bit different when you have advertising, because you have to like speak to the humans, right? So AI can only do as much as it can, right? So it can't like take over like the entire industry. You have to like still be open to maybe thinking the relationship, because there's still going to be deeper man thinking at the end of the day, which AI might not be able to do, even if you have like the highest version or something, right? So that's one very, very exciting thing that is currently taking over the industry now, and I think that it's something very, very important to look at. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Edgar, I would like to forward that same question to you. What do you think is going on in the future of social media and brand communications that you want to specifically?
All right. Just to be sure, I changed rooms. I don't know if you can still hear me very well. All right. I will not mention AI because, I mean, Adewale already mentioned that. But one thing I do not like to do is speak about the future as much, because there is a lot in the present right now that I think people should be aware of. That if you can just hold on to the future, to the present, I don't think you need to worry so much about the future, because social media is changing every single day. There's a new addition, a new feature that if you start worrying so much about the future, you miss the present. I noticed that, if there's one thing I have noticed, is most brands now are shifting away from influencer marketing. There was a period where every brand wanted to be tied to one influencer. They wanted to get one popular person on social media to advertise their product. But I've realized that there's this shift. There is living influencers, and most brands are building the human side of their companies. The CEOs of most companies are now doing videos themselves. The brand managers of companies are now trying to put their faces out there so people can see them. Brands are now beginning to create human identities for themselves and grow their socials using either staff or, the owners of the companies. And I've seen that a lot. I've seen that happen a lot. Another thing I've also noticed is we have more talking head videos, which is a style of content that I have realized that is happening on social media, which is people just stay in front of the camera and talk. Back then, what I mean back then, some few years ago, you had to shoot one major content, put editing here, put one funny sound here, put some graphics here. But I think we're just in an era where people want to be able to relate to you as fast as possible. So we have more people just speaking to the camera directly, and posting it like that. Now, another thing I've also noticed that is happening now with social media is we are in an era where most of the people that are doing so well are people that are doing a lot of educational content in whatever niche they're in. What I mean is, if you see people who are in, say, educational content, but edu and then, entertainment content as well. So what I mean is, I have seen more people grow from people who are sharing insights about their businesses, on social media. You have people who say, "Oh, come and talk about cooking," but they don't just show the steps or the instructions on how to make a meal. They're now telling you facts about the meal, why it's important to take certain actions. Even people that are even in the perfume business, they're not just telling you about what perfume to buy, but they're telling you how to use it, the kind of outfit to style it, where to spray it. I feel like this is a trend that is happening now. So if you're a business owner right now and you're trying to build a brand, instead of just coming out to say, buy what I'm selling, buy my service, buy my skill, buy my service, buy my skill. I think we're in an era where the more information you share about whatever business you're into, the more people would be drawn to your business. The more people would want to believe your business. So we're in an era where people are listening to those that are knowledgeable about their brands, who know their stuff, who know their onions, So I think that's one trend as well that I'm also seeing. But of course, the biggest is AI. AI has come to just make things easier for people. And building things now with AI is taking over the world. I told you guys, I just built my radio station, Check Edgar Radio, an internet radio, and it didn't take me more than 4 or 5 days with AI as well. I'm building other things as well with AI, No one can tell when AI. By the way, did you guys notice that Aniefok's initials are also AI? I'm just saying, I'm just mentioning that, by the way. So who knows whether he's real with AI? I'm just saying, who knows if it's real or AI? I'm just saying.
Well, it can be a conspiracy theory anyways. You can never tell. I mean, thank you so very much for bringing insight. From what you said, Edgar, I mean, yes, even brands are also doing a lot of user-generated content because as an everyday person, people actually want to see what your product has done for someone they feel is a normal person like them. So to build, so they can trust you. And again, we've seen, like you mentioned, a lot of brands, a lot of CEOs coming out to speak. People can now attach that, oh, this is the CEO of this company. So it's no longer more like a mystery anymore. And people have touched, you guys touched the Oga Patapata of them all right now, which is AI. And I would like to delve into AI because I know a lot of people who are really currently still fighting with AI. They don't want to conform to it. They don't want to agree with it. So I'm putting it out there to you guys. You are professionals, so I'll start with you. Edgar, that from where you are, from your standpoint, I mean, your answer would be obvious. Is AI, is it an opportunity or a challenge, or is it both?
I would say it is more of an opportunity than a challenge. And the reason is because when you understand what AI is and how it works, you understand that it has more benefits, more advantages than disadvantages. Adewale already mentioned that one of the things that AI does is to help save time and help build processes faster. I remember that when I was working at Pulse, I will give you guys a very good example. When I was working at Pulse, I was working as the commercial writer. I was writing commercials for different brands. Now, whenever we go pitch into brands, I would write about 5 different synopses of commercials for brands, for them to pick one. Then we'd also have like budgets. Now, there was no AI at the time. So imagine I had to spend hours, if not weeks and days, to come up with a commercial, write it properly, use all the tenses in the right way. But with AI, I don't have to waste so much time, writing ideas. All I need to do is understand the prompts and know how to use proper prompts. And I think that's what everybody needs to learn. We need to learn how do you describe things properly to artificial intelligence, and then it will give you your results. So I started using prompts. For example, I never thought I would be able to build a radio station on my own, as fast as I did. But AI made it very possible for me. So I can't call it, a problem. As a TV presenter at TVC Communications, when we have scripts for our prompters, when we have guests, for example, sometimes you just have guests that just show up unannounced, and then the management are telling you, oh, you have to interview that guest in minutes. Usually you need days to rehearse, to read about the person. But now with AI, you can get a quick summary about the person's history. If you go on AI, you go on Google and you put someone's name in there, you can get a quick summary of the person. So these are things that AI have come to do to help with. Now, some people complain and say, oh, AI has come to take our jobs. I don't think so. I don't necessarily agree that AI has come to take anyone's job. AI has just come to make things easier for people. AI has come to make things more efficient as well. And what I think people should start doing is start learning the basics of AI, start understanding prompts, how to write prompts, how to use AI automations as well. Start building AI automations. These are things that can really help you in the future, so you're not caught up as well. Now, of course, the basics of AI is just writing, prompts with AI. There are secondary levels when you start using it to build things, and then you start integrating it with things. But I'm not going to talk about all of that. But again, I don't think it is, it has a lot of negatives. Of course, they are negatives, because I'll tell you why they are negatives. A friend of mine, this is kind of a sad story. A friend of mine was, feeling some kind of way. And this is someone who used to be very religious before, but for some reason, AI has been her companion. AI has been her own, herself, more of like a mirror. So now she uses AI to ask herself certain questions about, oh, am I good? Am I okay about this? Should I take this decision? I don't feel like working today. Should I stay at home? And because of how AI is designed, sometimes you don't have the right prompts. AI will tell you the things you want to hear. All right. So AI will tell you, do not work, rest, sleep if you need to sleep. You can work tomorrow. But again, she doesn't want to go to church. And she's asking AI, tell me reasons why I should not go to church tomorrow. Tell me reasons why I should resign. AI will give you reasons. All right. AI is not as emotional or as psychological as you need AI to be. So AI can still make mistakes. There was a particular time I know I was trying to write a document, and AI kept calling that particular day Tuesday. And I said, no, today is not Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. AI said, okay, thank you very much for the correction. Today is Tuesday. I said, no, today is not Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. And then I said, okay, thank you very much. That correction has been taken. Welcome to Tuesday. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why are we going back? So sometimes they make mistakes. All right, that's just my point. Sometimes they make mistakes. You can't take them. You can't be very sure. You always have to also do your finding. But they will get better. You'll get better as we go.
Right. I mean, thank you for putting that thought. And it's quite like some people depend totally on AI now, and they see that if it's a quick fix, but it's not. And which also brings me to Adewale, because Leadway has a virtual assistant. Leadway has Lola. Right? Is it Lola or Lola? Because from where I'm sitting, this is Lagos, so I'll call the virtual assistant Lola. So I mean, speak to this. This is AI. Is it working for us or against us, or is it both?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of actually both, right? So it's maybe challenges how we work, right? But it's still a very, very good opportunity for value, right? So AI helps you reduce the time spent on certain activities, right? But then AI cannot help you build or nurture relationships. It cannot help you do all those deep human thinking, another things that you have to do, strategy, getting insight and relationships with customers, matter how small or matter how large, right? So it's actually a fine mix of both. So it helps you if you are able to be strategic with prompts or with them how you want it to assist you. You might even look like the smartest colleagues amongst all your peers, just because you have an AI that you know how to use well, and it helps you do your job really, really well. Right, so it's not cannot actually replace humans especially maybe in marketing in terms of what we do. It can just help you do things faster than you normally would on a normal day. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, thank you very much. That was quite insightful. So, I would like to also stay with you, and I want to know, right? We have AI is here to stay. We welcome it. But another question is, we've seen so many automations happening, and I give you an example. I registered for an event and I got a call, and I picked the call. At first, I thought I was speaking to maybe a customer rep, and the way a conversation will go with two people. I discovered that when I want to talk, there's always a break, and when he wants to continue, it picks up from where the last statement that was made. I then understood that this is not a human being. This is definitely a machine, right? So my question is, how do brands still, interface with AI, use AI, but still stay original, still stay human, So how do they do that? Where do they draw the line from, going totally machine and losing the human part of brand, because that's another part that attracts people really to brand.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so it's basically kind of simple. So it's basically for you to lean in more into where there's a need for you to show speed and also for you to show skill, right? Then for the human element or the human part of it all is maybe to show where you need more emotional judgment and maybe some communication aspects, right? So I'll say maybe for first content or maybe first drafts information to get maybe some data refined and then also understood better, maybe a bit of customer intelligence, maybe you want to have meeting summaries, productivity levels, maintaining them. That's maybe where AI can come into play, right? So, but then you have to like not delve to AI, especially when you have something like crisis management to handle. You want to be more original, you want to do brand positioning and then stuff. So it has to like be 100% human, right? So in the way it's actually like going right now. So let's also touch on automation and how it's going, right? So most people might not really care if it's maybe AI, you're using AI at some point, or you're trying to like make work faster, you're trying to do this, right? You just want to like get the job done. They also want to like feel seen. They want to like know that you understand their need. For example, like Annie rightly said about Leadway chatbot or AI, right? So basically, for example, let's say you're trying to like renew your motor insurance. It's due today, and you're trying to renew it ahead of tomorrow. And then you go on our website and you're chatting with Lola, the AI, and then you're asking questions about, okay, when is or how do I renew my policy, right, at 11 p.m., right? So that's maybe already like takes away humans being awake by that time when you have like a chatbot that can answer simple questions, right? So you know that, okay, this particular AI can respond to you, give you details about your policy and let you know how to renew it, right? But then that is very, very okay. So, but imagine a situation where I'm trying to make a claim, for example, maybe there was an accident or something. I'm trying to like get money back to repair my vehicle, and then I'm trying to like make a call. It was like you also said, and then being just not being responded to as at when due, right? So like that particular place is where the human touch is actually like very, very needed, right? So it helps you get more emotional with the customer, able to like relate, because yes, they are machines, so it may be hard for them to maybe know the severity of the situation or know that you're actually like in the dire need of something. But like for maybe always on activities or the activities that actually like have a very, very minimal human interaction involved, it's AI can actually do that. So for another example is maybe hotels, for example, you're trying to go on a vacation. The AI on the website or maybe WhatsApp AI, it's able to help you book and share recommendations or maybe cool spots around the hotel that you can visit. But then the receptionist cannot be AI coach. Yeah, certainly that has that warm feel, has that warm welcome to you, helps you settle into the hotel properly, speak to you maybe in maybe your home language. For example, let's say you're Igbo and you're traveling to the east and it speaks to you in your home language, helps you, remembers your anniversary, it does a couple of stuff, right? That's basically a fine line. So like I wouldn't say AI is not good. It's actually like good, but you just have to like as a business, as a brand, as an individual, or as a staff, you have to like know where to draw the line. How to know, okay, this works for me through AI, but then this now I can't leave it in the hands of AI. I need to like have that personal touch into it. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's very insightful. Drawing the line between where AI and having the human touch. So Edgar, I'll take one of our questions here, and okay. So the question is directed to Adewale now. So I have a question, and someone is asking, what are your thoughts on brands who use AI to advertise?
Okay, yes. So to be clear, when you say brands who use AI to advertise, right? So maybe they are using AI voiceovers or they are using maybe AI videos, right? So I'm not going to call it brand, but it's a particular brand, so right? So I'm not going to call it for. So there'll be videos, Twitter ads, and everywhere that the ad is completely AI, right? Maybe 80% AI, 90% AI, because like I said, there's a limit to what can be done. For me to know that it's AI, that means there are some gaps or there are some things I was able to see. Because brands are maybe trying to like cut cost and everything at maybe no expense, for example. But then, so I think it might be a cost-effective way, quite all right, able to do your P&L to the board, saying, okay, yes, I'm able to cut this particular cost. I'm able not to. I don't need to do complete video shoot. I don't need to get 10 models. I can just use AI to do everything. Right, so I would say it's might not be good at the end of the day because people that are watching might not have that connection or might not have that AI might not be able to convey that emotional connection you want them to feel. For example, you're trying to do a family ad or maybe a Pampers brand, for example, trying to do an ad talking about how to care for your babies between 0 and 2 years old, and then you're using AI mother and AI baby, right? So I don't think it's really connects because AI might not be able to show that emotion you want it to show, like a normal Nigerian mother or child should that baby care for them. So I would say it depends on the type of brand or the type of what you're actually trying to also sell. So if people use AI maybe for as little as maybe a voiceover, which it might be okay because maybe the messaging itself is still very, very solid and organic using human behavior and human elements. But I wouldn't say you have to use AI like every time to do your videos. I would also say like you have to like know your brand well and see maybe like do a survey, like understand what it's actually going to transcend well for your brand. It's going to be something that's going to be very welcome. This particular brand I'm talking about backlash on Twitter. We were talking about why are they doing this? And it's a cooking brand for actually. So like using AI in the kitchen, like the preparation of the food, everything wasn't looking very, very neat. You can't compare it to a video that's 100% human. So I would say just know the type of audience, know how they'll perceive the video you've done or whatever means of advertising you have done to using AI and see how it will reflect on your brand at the end of the day. Because if you're trying to cut costs and then you're losing customers or people are talking bad about your brand, you're cutting costs, but you're not making money, right? So when you can rather like spend more money and then end up making even more than that from the proceeds of the advertising that you've put out. Yeah, I hope this answers the questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Adewale. I mean, something that's staying with me now is the fact that cutting costs and losing customers. It's quite very interesting, and which brings me to the issue of consumers, because if there are no consumers, then what are the brands really putting out there? You know, and looking at this now, I want to delve a bit into the issue of trust and relationship. You know, from the beginning of this conversation, we've been talking about what consumers want to see, how they want to relate with brands more, and how they want their brand to be more like, they want the brands to be human. They want to see themselves in the brand. And so, Edgar, talk to me. What do you think of when we talk about consumers today? You know, they are becoming more intentional and really hard to impress, right? And the consumers that we have today are not people that you can swerve just a good ads in their faces, and then you think they will start running to you. And I have an example that I would like to use. So we all know, let me try not to call the name of the brand. There was a phone brand in Nigeria that's come out, and they launched a very huge advert, putting great celebrities, you know, using the theme of King of Boys, and they launched on a very big platform, and the platform is Big Brother Nigeria. And at the end of the day, that phone is nowhere to be found right now in terms of, you know, competition in the market. So my question now is, how do brands build trust in their consumers?
All right. Okay. Just before I answer that question, I wanted to quickly mention something concerning from the previous question that Adewale was answering. I want to quickly say that there is a lot of The people listening to my answer right now may not like it, but it's just the reality of things. There is something called adaptability, and you may not like where AI is going, and you may not like some of these videos that you're seeing online with AI and all, but it is the reality we have to accept and we have to embrace. As a matter of fact, I can assure you that if you do not like AI right now, it is going to get worse. It's going to get worse because these apps and these automations and these systems will be better. And what that means is you may notice that, oh, wow, that picture has 5 fingers. It's AI right now. But trust me, in another 4 or 5 years, you may not even tell that that person is AI. I was covering the news some days ago, and they said that there is a particular guy in the UK who has actually made lots of money on a particular website because he appears as AI, and there are so many people that believe that he is female. All right, people have been paying him thousands of dollars just because they think that they are talking to a particular person who is completely AI. So you can imagine the level that it is actually going to right now. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, guys. This might sound like a joke, but it's not. Don't be surprised that in the next 20, 40, 50 years, some people will start telling you, you know what? Right now, I am not marrying anybody. My wife is virtual. Don't be surprised. People start going into such relationships. The reason is because at some point we all have to adapt. I'll give you a very good example. I remember growing up as a child when I used to buy CDs and when I used to watch movies, I used to buy 8-in-1 disc, compact disc. You know, my father used to tell me, we'll never buy all those things. If it's not cassette, I'm not buying. Well, I used to buy 8-in-1. And I was telling him, this is the future. This is the way. After a while, we stopped buying compact disc. All we started doing was using memory card and hard drive. Put the film inside, let me go and watch. Me, go to cinema, go for big, lie. I will never want to go to cinema. I will never do cinema. It's not possible. No, I'm not one of them. Now, people go to the cinema. After that one, now we have streaming networks. You say some people say, oh, me, I will never pay for data to watching online stream. No, I will download. The question you should ask yourself is, how many people are still downloading films today? How many people? Maybe not a lot. The reason is because we have all adapted. So my point with this is, don't be surprised in the nearest future that you see some beautiful videos made with AI and you just love it as AI and you still feel connected. The fact that you don't feel connected right now does not mean you will never feel connected to these videos. It will only just take time. It will only take time. So I just wanted to mention that we all have to adapt at some point with AI because AI does not look like it's going away anytime soon. It doesn't look like it's going away. As a matter of fact, it is the future. Now, to answer the initial question that was asked concerning consumers and trust, I want to say that using the example that you mentioned with the Big Brother brand that had a phone, it is very important that you know that not all brands that advertise are about sales. All right, not all brands are trying to advertise their product just because they want to sell a product. No, there are different reasons why people advertise their brands. There are different reasons why people are out there. For example, Coca-Cola has been in the market for the longest, all right? But you don't see them telling you in their advert, go and buy Coca-Cola today. Go and buy, go to the Suzu website to buy Coca-Cola or go to your nearest shop to buy Coca-Cola because to them, they have passed that level for marketing. It's not just about buying a product anymore. They want to sell a feeling to you right now. They want you to remember them even in your dream, you know. And that was even what gave birth to Santa Claus. For so many people do not know, but Coca-Cola actually gave birth to Santa Claus today. All right. It was part of their branding. And everybody's going, you remember Christmas, you know, some people always remember celebration with drinks and food. That was how it all started for them. So many brands have different reasons why they advertise. When it comes to consumers, I think the first thing you need to understand as a product owner is whatever product you have, whether you're a business or you're an individual, because you believe in your product, no matter how useless your product is, you have a million, and I'm not even joking right now, you have a million people out there that believe in your product. The only question is, how do you find them? So you have two options. Is either you find your audience or you find your people, or you create a problem that you know the general audience can solve. If you're creating a problem the general audience can solve, it means you will find your people faster. But if you have a unique problem, it means you have to look for these unique people. The fact that you consider it a problem, trust me, they are just people. The only question is, where do you find them? So for customers, One feature I know on social media today or through digital media that has opened the eyes of businesses is the comment section. There are so many people here that would agree with me that sometimes even the comments determines our reactions to certain products or service, which is wrong, but it happens. What that means is you watch a video today, you first go and check the comments. If they are laughing about it, if they find it interesting, before you laugh. So if the commenter say, "Oh, this video is good," that's when you agree that it's good. If everybody say the video is bad, you look at the video again, this video is actually bad. The comment has become a place where businesses now understand the feedback of their customers. People can now drop comments, people can send in messages, they can share their thoughts to say, "Oh, we like your product, we don't like your product," or "Don't even use that product." When I started studying marketing, one of the first things I learned was that reviews are the ones that even drive people from your consideration stage to your conversion stage. When you go and see one person write one review, "I used to work in that company, don't go there, don't buy anything from them. Their guy is not a good person. He sacked me and sacked plenty other people." You already know that, okay, there's a problem somewhere. So reviews would always be one place. Customers comment sessions will always be one place as well. That's why sometimes I don't really understand why some brands would have videos on their platforms and they would put off their comments. They don't want people to share their thoughts, But with comments, people get to understand better their customers as well. And then user-generated content would always help, because when customers see other customers talking about their products, they believe. Especially when they can see that this person is genuine doing this, not because they were paid to create user-generated content, but because they can see that this person is actually testifying from the goodness of your product or your service as well. So user-generated content will always be good as well. And I think another thing that will also help for brands with customers is understanding where your customers are. Knowing where to find your customers is always the most important thing. Sometimes maybe your customers are based on TikTok and you're building your brand on LinkedIn. Sometimes your customers could just be on YouTube and you're building your brand on Instagram. I know for a fact that the people who enjoy YouTube content are not the same people who enjoy Instagram. There are some people, no matter how interesting your content is on Instagram, they will never go on YouTube. If you know what is good for your career, bring that video from YouTube to Instagram if you want them to watch it. That is just how they are, right? So you have to find your audience, know where they are, and understand how to penetrate them. Wait, I've been talking to myself.
No. We can hear you.
Good. Yes. So that's it.
So, yes, I have a question. Between short form content and long form content, which one leads to conversions faster? So sometimes I hear people saying that watching a 1 hour podcast can pretty much drive somebody from awareness straight to conversion, and maybe they will go and do what you want, or they'll buy your book, do whatever. But short form content takes a longer time. So which would you say, especially for the Nigerian audience, which would you say drives conversions faster?
One idea that I want to correct today is there is this mentality that we've always been pushing, that Nigerians have low attention span. We don't like to listen for too long. It is not true. That is not true. All right. It's all about what you're saying. Now, I would say, to answer your question, that it differs depending on what you're selling. Sometimes when it's a product, it is easier. First 5 seconds, you should already tell the person what they want to hear. It's easier with products. It is harder with services, because services differ. The idea for a service is more of a feeling, and to convey someone's feeling, you may just need a longer time. All right. But when it's a product, when it's a direct product you're trying to sell, sometimes it is easier to just go with a shorter video. But if it's a service, you may just need a longer video. All right. Again, I always feel that it depends on the platform that you're also putting this content on. And you also have to understand the algorithm, how they work as well. I'll give you a good example. Instagram has been pushing Reels for the longest time. For the past 4 or 5 years now, they've been shouting Reels. Everybody do Reels. And as a matter of fact, when you post a video that is longer than 3 minutes, they will tell you that, oh, there's a high chance this video will not go to a newer audience. Why is that? It's because they expect people to try and push shorter videos. They want you to just say what you have to say and move to the next. All right. So some people still go ahead and post 5-6 minutes and still do great numbers. Some people just stick with that. So it all depends on you. What do you have to say? Do you think what you have to say will keep them for a longer period? If you don't, then just do a shorter video. But if you know that if you have a longer video, it would really get into their emotions and make them understand why you have to take that long, then do a longer video, right? Now, people on YouTube prefer longer videos. I know that most people who love and watch videos on YouTube prefer longer videos. Now, most people do not go... Thank you. Most people do not go on LinkedIn to watch videos as much, right? So if you have maybe words you want to share, people love to read on LinkedIn. So you can go and do a lot of writing there, right? So you just have to understand the platform, know which one works best, and try different things, all right? If you've tried short videos for a very long time, try a long video today. There are really no rules as much. I'm not a very big fan of following rules and saying do it post by 3 p.m. Make sure that if you post by 3 p.m., make sure that the video is 2:59 seconds. Don't make it 3 minutes. Then post this one. Use a cover art. I'm not always a big fan of rules and strict rules as much. But what I always say is you have the opportunity of always trying these things. And as you try, you would really realize through analytics what works best for you. All right. Whether it's short form, whether it's long form, but just make sure that you understand what the platform is always trying to push, and go with it. Finally, I think what I'll also say is as you push your content on social media, one important thing you should also do is start growing your community. If I could go back to start doing social media content from day one, I think I would start growing my community outside the social media group, from the social media app, outside it. So what that means is if you're growing your video if you're growing your brand on Instagram, try and start creating a WhatsApp group, all right? And see how you can convert those people from Instagram into your WhatsApp group or into your Telegram group or whatever group you can keep them. So that, for example, one day you lose your Instagram page, that is not the end of your account. You can still get people to, follow back again. Try and be an influencer, move them from one place to another so you can always have them around you. So I think, that's basically what I would say.
I mean, thank you. I mean, it makes absolute sense, given that we've seen a lot of people come back and be like, "Oh, Instagram disabled my account. Please, can you people start following back?" So I think it makes a lot of sense building communities. Adewale, I mean, I would ask you. You are more on the brand side, and you have dealt with people majorly, and of course, I would like to hear from your standpoint. So, being a service-based brand, how have you been able to work around strategies that has helped your organization to get customers that now have absolute trust in what you do in your services?
Okay, thank you very much, Annie. Right, so trust isn't just about communication, right? So it goes way beyond just communication, right? So it's basically what you do over time, and then what people might find important to them in their particular situation. So it's basically about consistency, right? So people the current scenery or the current landscape of brand now has gone beyond just people just reading or just hearing what you say. So back in the olden days, maybe when there was no more digital age, people can just put up an ad maybe on newspaper and say Leadway is best, right? Or video assurance is number one or something, for example. And the people go with that mindset. They take it hook, line, and sinker without them disputing anything. But now people have gone more digital. People are well read, right? So people can easily just see, or you can now you can't just come and say video is number one, even though just say it. So people still would not take a word for it, right? So they would pick up newspaper, read it in detail, check reviews on TikTok or maybe on social media, try to compare policies with maybe competitor brand, try to read up, try to check the pricing and everything. So all this is to show that trust is now maybe harder to get, right? So it's not as it used to be in the past, right? So you have to show evidence, you have to show workings, right? Just put it into more context. You need to show working and let people know that this is exactly what you're doing, right? So you need to meet them at the point of their need. You need to give them very, 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 very huge amount of reasons as to why they should trust you with their hard-earned money, but especially in this economy. So you need to let them know they are going to deliver on your promise, right? So you need to for you to also build trust over time. You need to like maybe also do a survey across board to see what other people are doing, spot maybe gaps or loopholes that they're not like leveraging well. So like this is how you're able to like build trust over time as maybe as a services brand or maybe financial services in this case. Just be sure to like back whatever you're advertising, whatever you're saying with them good numbers, good metrics, and also so people can, once they do their research, you can actually like confirm that you're actually telling the truth, and gradually you can get them over to your side. Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much. It makes absolute sense. You have to show workings. If not, you go explain, tire, no evidence. All right. So, Edgar, I want to ask you. You know, you built a brand. You built a brand from scratch. I've built a personal brand, and you're able to expand it into becoming an organization now that has different parts, and all still extending from just that personality of this is who Edgar is, and giving us different phases. And trust me, we are still following. And so I want to ask you, as someone that built a brand from scratch, because we have people here that are listening and that want to build their brand from scratch. So what are the things, you know, that you went through, the phases that you went through that crept in slowly at some points, that before you realize that, oh, I made a mistake here. I've made a costly mistake. So what are those mistakes that you made coming up, and you would want to say, hey, if you are coming up as an upcoming person building a brand, you shouldn't do this. Not that you're not going to make mistakes, but these mistakes are expensive. Try and avoid them.
So I realized that if I sound serious, Annie will not laugh. So let me try and use a very serious tone. All right. Thank you very much for that question. Okay. So let me answer the question as you asked me. What are the things that I have done? It is very hard. My throat is burning me, guys. Okay. All right. Now, let's just answer the questions. There are lots of interesting things that I've done. I know that I made mistakes at. And the first thing I'll say is when you have your spark, you have your ideas. That's the beginning. So let's say you have something that you have a mindset. Okay, this is what I want to do. The first thing is you want to share it with people that would help you build it, and that would also inform you of areas that you are not seeing. One of the biggest mistakes I know I made when I started was I had an idea of what I wanted to be, my kind of brand, and I didn't ask all the necessary questions. I just went with the flow. And that is great. But when you do not ask people around you, what they think, you may just think that you have it all together, and that could be wrong. So you want to ask knowledgeable people. You want to get someone who is in the law space, so you are sure that whatever you're doing is right by law. You want to get people who are in the brand space so that you don't just put yourself out there. How do you want to be perceived? These are also very important as well. And then you want to start building things. I started building my email marketing platform very late. If I built it at 2020, I can imagine that I wouldn't have, lost as much as I have lost as well. That is one. Another thing you also want to do is, of course, you don't want to forget the God factor. Even if you don't believe in God, you have to believe in something. It is very important, okay? Because you will not always be inspired every time. You will not always have that ginger every time. You will not always have the motivation to do great things every time. Sometimes you will burn out. Sometimes you will be clueless, all right? So it's always very important that you have that God factor, whatever it is for you. Some people, they believe in God. Some people, they believe in beer. If your own is beer, make sure you have enough crates. You understand? Buy as many bottles as you can buy. If that's what you believe in, though, buy. So that when you have lost your motivation, you have something that once you just belch, idea don't come. Okay. That's for some people, all right? Then also you want to network. I tell people that networking is the most important thing you can do for your brand. One thing I know I did earlier on that I feel like I shouldn't have done was I started seeing having seen similar people who were in my space as competitions. You shouldn't do that, all right? Don't start seeing competition early. What you want to do is, how do you network with people? Because you see, when you begin to network with people, these people you network with will either help you grow, or they will actually just even expand your own business. You want to network. Then also you want to be in the news. You want to be in the news. You want to be able to research. You want to know what is happening around you. See, most of the billionaires that we have in the world today are the people who heard one or two stories first, and they took action immediately. So you want to be in the news. You want to know what is happening and then take action. Another advice I would give is, we read and research too much as Nigerians. We read and research too much as Nigerians. My advice would be, start taking actions. You have read a lot. You read in primary school, you read in secondary school, you read in university, you are doing masters, you are reading, you are just gathering all the knowledge. At what point do you start executing what you have learned? You know, you need to start executing your actions now. You can't keep saying, don't worry, I'm waiting for it to be perfect. There is no perfect time. There's really no perfect time. One example I would give just before I end my statement here is, when I wanted to start my podcast, I told my manager at the time, I said, see, if I don't have the best mic, if I don't have the best production software, if I don't have the best team, I will not start. And I was meant to have started my podcast in 2018, and I kept pushing. And one day he just said something to me. He said, Edgar, start this podcast right now. If you don't start by next week, if you don't drop the first episode next week, you give me 50K. And we had this 50K, thing in the balance. And then I just started. And to the glory of God, I have never given him any money. Like, I have not paid him one day. So I keep dropping episodes. And that has been the motivation to keep doing, So you can just find whatever works for you, because sometimes some people will tell you, I don't know, I'm not just ready. I don't know how they accept me, how people perceive me. People would love you and people would also hate you. All right. Now, one way I know that has also worked for some people, there is a particular basketballer called Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant said something that I feel like is actually very strong. He did something rather. When he realized that he wasn't as good as he used to be, he created a character and called Black Mamba. Now, he knows that, Kobe Bryant may not be as great as he needs to be, but Black Mamba becomes the alter ego that just goes and does it. And I think that's the same motivation I'll give you guys. If you feel like you're too shy, create a character for yourself and say, you know what, Belumi may be shy, but P Baby got it. And let P Baby just go ahead and do what you want to do, all right? Just go ahead and do it. And you say, okay, you know what? That is P Baby. This is Pelumi. But whenever I am down, P Baby takes that action. So my point is, just take actions. There's so many actions that I have, I did not take growing up, during my process. And I think finally is when you are at the heat of the moment, because I can remember when I was in 2020, I was getting over 5,000 followers a day, 10,000 followers a day, 5,000 followers a day. I want you to always remember that it will not always be like that. You will not always have high moments, all right? But when there are low moments, instead of feeling bad about yourself and saying, my content is not working anymore, my brand is not doing as well as it used to do, instead of doing that, take your time to just research and continue to build, all right? Do not look down on yourself, because that happened to me at some point. I left content and went to go and start looking for money else. I just said, I'm doing work. If I had continued, I'm sure I'll have been a very that you want to see my face come. To see my face, I'll show you guys my side view. Yeah. But my point is, you just have to always continue. You have to believe that you're doing great and believe in yourself and keep going. I say, be consistent as well. Be consistent. And consistency does not mean you post every day. Consistent just means that if you decide to say, I want to do one content a week, just be doing that one content a week. If it's one content a month, do it one content a month. But be consistent. Let people know you for being that person that always shows up. Whether you're an individual brand or you are a company as well. Be consistent at whatever you're doing. If you're posting, if you're selling, be consistent, right? Because you have to always be available when time comes. And that's it.
That was very, very insightful. That is a lot of gems that people starting definitely. So I'm going to ask Adewale a very similar question. So if you had to grow a brand or a company from scratch today, maybe as a startup founder or as their communications manager for a new brand, a new company, what's the communication strategy that you would prioritize over every other?
All right, thank you very much, Ife. Yeah, so for me, I would just want to just say I would not overpromise and underdeliver, right? So I would say it's very, very important for new startups, right? Especially ones that are still struggling to find trust and to earn trust of people. Like, because for example, let's say it's a fintech brand, for example, there are 1,001 fintech brands already existing in Nigeria. And what am I going to do differently to make people want to live there, also like add to their collection they currently have, right? So it's in the minor things and it's in them doing what you said you're going to do. So I'd rather on that deliver and no, sorry, I'd rather like under promise and over deliver, right? Instead of like over promising and under delivery, right? So it's very, very important for that particular aspect because you're trying to like get them to know what you do, right? And like gradually come to terms with the fact that okay, you're like a good alternative or you're going to be a good addition for them, right? So also as a maybe a startup founder or like someone that's just starting out. So it's very important to be take note of the minor things, right? So for example, social media comments, social media DMs, right? It might look small, but at the end of the day, it's all adds up to be a form of negative PR, right? So imagine you as a struggling or coming startup, and then you can't really like satisfy the 10 or 20 loyal customers you have, right? So how then do you want to like manage it when you have 1,000 people struggling for your attention as a brand, right? So it's very, very important for you to like start small, understand the market carefully, do lots of research, and like know what actually like trust means to people. So now, especially let's say I'm doing maybe services, financial services company, you're dealing with money. People, Nigerians basically do not joke with their money, right? So you need to like be very, very sure about it, know about it. Then also your communication has to like be on point, right? So you need to actually like communicate. If your app is going to have a minor glitch, communicate. If you're going to have to close early, communicate. If you're going to like maybe have to introduce a new charge based on regulation, federal government regulation or something, please communicate to them and let them know that you have them in mind. So like put it in very maybe simple terms for them to understand. Because let's say the federal government introduced, let's say 20% tax now, or for example 10% on your investment withdrawal, like 10% to like go for tax. It might have been out on the internet, but people maybe did not read down because there was a lot of grammar for them, right? So you need to like actually like break it down into people and let them know why the government is asking for this and why you also have to like do this, so also like stay compliant because big customers who don't want you to like be non-compliant to this particular thing you're doing. So they want to support. They also need to like know that you have them in mind and you understand that you want them to like know what's exactly is happening, right? So I would say communication is going to be prompt communication and also like very as vanilla as possible would go a long way and right them and also like ensuring to like stick with whatever you have promised them at the end of the day. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So because of time, let's just go straight into questions. We have some questions from our listeners. And if you have more questions, please feel free to ask in the chat box. First of all, for Edgar, our list for a brand to sell with emotion or with value. Like if you ask people to buy out of it instead of showing the value
Sorry,
of
can you take the question again?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. The person asked, is it better for a brand to sell with emotion or with value? So if you ask people to buy out of pity instead of showing the value of your product or services, how does it affect your brand?
All right. I'll always say sell with value, but your storytelling must reflect in their emotions. It is very important. You must sell with value because that is the reason why people want to buy your product or your service in the first place. You must tell them the value your product gives them. It's important that during your awareness stage, for those of you that were here when I talk about the different this fourth stage of marketing, your awareness stage, it should clearly share the values that you have. All right. But it's also very important that whatever you're doing your storytelling, even with your design, even with your font, whatever you decide to use to market, even in video commercials as well, your storytelling should evoke some emotions. It should evoke the emotion of the people. If not, people will just listen to say, okay, you're just reading out something. You don't believe it yourself, you know. So you want to tell, when I mean you want to tell the problem, you want to tell how you're solving it, and you want to tell the person why they should take that action as well. The problem, how your company is solving it, and why your company should be the one they take. Those are things that you should factor in your story. So yeah, values are important, but also your emotion should be, you should actually go with the storytelling that has emotion from as a part of it. I would also say that don't go with pity, except the story has a form of pity in it. All right. But don't tell people, please, when I mean pity, don't go with, oh, please, we're going down, just help us, help us. People can read through all that. All right. And even if people little or no amount of them, persons. So I'm not sure if that is the exact question, but I think that's the answer I can give for now. If you have more questions, you can always reach out to me through socials so I can understand what you're trying to say.
Thank you very much. So Adewale, I'll also forward that question to you if you have a different point of view, something else you'd like to add to it. Yeah. Is it better for a brand to sell with emotion or with value?
Yeah, so I would say you have to come with what you're selling, right, to people. So when you say emotion, me, I will read it as you guys like to be able to buy from you. I don't think it's going to work on people like me, for example. You can't come and say, oh, due to whatever is happening to you, you want me to buy from you without you telling me why I should buy from you and not buy from the next person, right? So you need to actually show value. You need to make me understand why I should actually take your word for it and buy this for you, or buy this particular product, or buy this particular service from you. Not just you coming to say, oh, because of XYZ, my emotions here and there, and I want to buy. For me, it's not going to work, and I believe lots of consumers in Nigeria would not be able to see it. But in some sectors, it might work, or maybe some people it might work, but then to a larger percentage of the people you're trying to reach, I don't think it's going to work. I think value wins at the end of the day. Is how you're able to show value to people that get them to even look your way at all. Yeah, so I would say value over emotions.
Thank you so much. So another question. AI is good, but some organizations are not ready to embrace it because sensitive organization information will be fed into it and expose the organization to potential risk. Adewale, I'll forward this question to you because we actually work in a large organization. So what do you think about?
Okay, thank you. Yes, so yes, indeed, it's a valid question, right? So it also depends on how you're able to manage the situation, or able to use the AI platforms, right? So there are many companies that actually embrace use of AI 100%, right? Some of them even pay for the paid a top level access of AI platforms, right? For their staff to access. But then there's always maybe a sort of knowledge sharing sessions, or from maybe cybersecurity, and then from the IT team, just to speak to staff and then let them know the limits in terms of numbers, in terms of information they're putting out there, since it's not personal in this case. It's more of a nationwide, or maybe even worldwide information for the company, right? So you have to have that back of your mind to use AI carefully and not share too much information, right? And also, I believe that there are also some cadres or some level of this subscription that will help you protect your data and not maybe share. Maybe the free versions might you stand a higher risk, most likely, of your information being also used maybe for learning purposes, or to be shared. So I think companies are beginning to embrace it, right? But they're also putting in credible measures on how to prevent breaches, right? And how to prevent scenarios where it might AI might not turn out to be a bad element rather than a good cause, which it was intended for originally. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Forwarding this question to Edgar. How do you build influence? Just like you mentioned earlier, how do you build influence that can give rise to a loyal community for your brand? Using yourself to build the current community you have. So something like a personal brand. And then how do you build influence, especially if you are somebody that nobody knows yet?
All right. So thank you very much for that question. I think the first thing is to pick a niche. Pick a niche that you have much knowledge about. You want to pick an area you love to talk about, you love to research about, you love to read about. Something that you know more, a lot of info about it. That's the first thing. To have an influence, you are basically just telling people one, educational and informational into them contents. So from time to time in that niche, you're informing them, letting them know the updates, letting them know the how-tos, letting them know how it's done, so that when you tell them to take an action, they believe you over time. It is not just built immediately. You have to do it over time. Now, for individual brands, for example, if you look at someone like Apropos Doctor, Apropos Doctor comes once in a while. He tells you, oh, do you know that watermelon is not good? Do you know that so fruit is not good? Do you know that this is better? Do you know that you should not eat amala at night? Do you know that you should sleep only 8 hours a day? Now, I'm just saying, he hasn't said any of all these things. I'm just giving random examples, okay? But if he ever comes to tell you that, oh, this is the best product to take concerning health, or anything that has to do with the medical, or anything that has to do with, human body getting better or whatever, you would believe him because he has over time told you different things that you believe. All right. Another example, which is a direct opposite, but also a great example, is someone like Famaki, who actually claims to be the best smelling man. Right now, he has never shown you his results or shown you his certificates for whatever. But just because over time, he's not just trying to sell a product or service to you, but instead trying to educate you, trying to inform you, you now get to believe him. So if you're also a business owner here, apart from just selling, because sometimes we forget that when it comes to content and influence, it's not just about selling every single time. You want to be able to carry people along with your brand. Let them know that you are knowledgeable with whatever field or niche that you talk about. You want to spend time doing informing content. You want to do educative content so that people get to understand and learn more. That way, as you build your community over time with that, then you can now take an action to lead them. All right. So that is one way to go about it. Another way is over time, the more you build your brand, people begin to tell you what they actually see in your brand. For example, my own brand, I was just talking every other day, and then some people just said, oh, you have an amazing voice. Do you know you should go to do radio? Do you know you should do TV? Do you know you should do that? And I'm like, okay. If everyone is saying the same thing, maybe they are saying something I am not seeing, right? So what did I do? I decided to go and train my voice, do more voiceovers. And that's how I built a brand with my voice. Now, sometimes some people just call me and say, oh, I heard your voice in the radio. They did not even see me, but they just know that, oh, if that person is sounding like that, that is Edgar. Do you get? Some people come in and say, oh, Edgar, I don't know, did a Big Brother. Do you get? Because at the end of the day, I have a baritone that most people have just heard over time. So in the same, I said time? I said time. Okay, in the same way, I think it's also very important that as you grow your brand, you want people to give you feedback. Feedback is always very important as you grow your brand, because that is how you get to know if you're even influential or not. Ask people about your brand. And then from time to time, go live. If you're on Instagram, go live, do live. See how many people are joining your live, how many people are taking you seriously, and then ask them to do certain things and see if they take those things seriously, if they do those things. And then you begin to see that, okay, I have 50 people, I have 100 people that take actions from me, and then build your community. Once you build your community, you already know that it's easier that way. So these are some of the little steps I know that you can actually just take to build your brand from being, an individual person and just having a brand as well. Another thing you can also do is if you already have a following and you've not been able to convert those people, start engaging with your followers. All right. Now, for those that have little amounts of followers, it might be easier for you. If you know you have 1,000 people, Start engaging with those 1,000 people. Have a day-to-day, not every day, but a day-to-day relationship with them. Know them personally. Because the more you know them, the more they can relate with you. It becomes easier for you to sell an action or sell a product or a service to them. All right. Some people just have followers. You've never replied their comments. You never sent them a DM. You've never tried to communicate with them. They just see you like they see people on TV. It shouldn't work that way if you use social media or digital media. All right. Try to communicate with people.
Wow. Yes.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. That was
That's quite a lot. Edgar, please send me your invoice and maybe put your phone number. I didn't say your account. Phone number, please. Adewale, this has been it has been mind blowing, but you are my boss. I can't tell you to send your account. You know, who am I? So, I mean, it has been really amazing. It has been insightful, and I am happy you guys came on this webinar. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Adewale, for taking out the time, from your busy schedule to be here. Thank you, Edgar. Edgar, thank you. I know it took a lot for me to catch you down here. And also, Adewale, I mean, we were out yesterday and he's quite busy.
The webinar has ended. Thank you for joining.
All right.
Goodbye.
That's it. I'm still going to like 1 p.m. now. 2 hours. Ah, it is well.